I hope you enjoyed seeing Suzanne's pictures and her progress that she's making so far. We are doing things a little different because, this is an individual, unique type craft, and we all interpret things our own way. So she's replacing some colors, as you saw, with some sparklers and ABs, and so am I. But we're doing, our own thing, a little different. For example, I know that she's replacing some dark colors in the leaves with a darker sparkler. I've replaced a lighter color. So, things like that. She has some different colors than I do. She has been working on the veins and the flower, doing those with black ABs. I'm just using regular. So it's fun to see how things turn out differently. And we share pictures back and forth, and we're like, hey, what do you think about this? I'm doing this. What do you think about this? I actually went back to Tina's website and I looked around and I ordered a couple other things because I really wanted some blues that would go around the center. And Suzanne had, I believe it's this color A, right around the center of the flower that she replaced with AB. That looked really good. So yeah, I think I am gonna do a little more to the flower. I mean, the flower is big. It's a focal point. We want it to be, special. Anyhow, so there's that. So stay tuned and we'll keep updating you on our progress and show pictures and all that good stuff. We do have a hashtag. I'm gonna put something out there today for the first time. Our hashtag is, hashtag blooming friendships. I thought that was perfect, right? It's a flower, it's blooming, and it's about friendships. Because, we're working on our friendship. I mean, we're pretty good friends, I would say, but, we're working on it even more. And I hope that you're making new friends as well. I hope that you consider me one of your friends, and I consider you my friends. So anyhow, hashtag blooming friendships. Yeah. We're going to do a giveaway. I think I said at one point, that's a weird drill. I don't like that one. I think I said at one point that Suzanne has already ordered a painting. It's really cute. And that's coming, and I'm going to order some things to go with it. So that's how that works. That will be our giveaway at the end. So we'll talk about more later how you enter the giveaway. Instead of just doing comments on every video like we've done in the past, I think we're going to do something a little different. Maybe it'll just be one video, and you have to do something special on that video. Yeah, maybe a little different than the average comment and pick a comment kind of thing. So anyhow, besides that, join along, make a new friend, find somebody in the comments, or, talk to them, strike up a conversation. In this time of chaos and weirdness and just stuff going on in our world, we all need friends, and you can never have enough friends, I don't think. So, let's make some new friends. Let's enjoy each other. Let's enjoy each other's company and be caring and kind towards each other. Yeah. So, hashtag blooming friendships. Let's see if we can bloom some new friendships along the way. All right. Okay. With that part all being taken care of and said and done, let me talk. Things to talk about. Let's talk a little. First of all, let me just go back a little bit to Melodies of May. That was so much fun. It was I loved that painting. I loved that whole era. I loved everything we did with it, talking about the past and reminiscing. And it was very apropos for the time. You know what I mean? We were talking about a time when life was different and the good memories that we had. In midst of all of the turmoil that our earth is in currently, it was so refreshing to do that. Just refreshing. I really enjoyed it. I did not get my painting in time, and that's not a big deal. I mean, it went to Suzanne, which was totally ironic. I mean, I never in a million years would have thought that would happen. Here I am getting ready to start, a project with Suzanne, and she wins that giveaway. That was just, wow. I couldn't have made that up, folks. You saw it live. Couldn't have made it up. So anyhow, yeah, the painting didn't come in. It's not that big a deal. It will be here, but everything is stuck. It's just things in the United States even. I have some stuff coming from Crystal Canvas Art, and it's just sitting there. It's not going anywhere. It's no tracking, nothing's moving. And these people are in the US. Normally things get to me in a couple days. I mean, especially once they've shipped, and they're just sitting there. So I'm not fussed about it or anything. It is what it is. Just, Anyhow, let's move on from that. Everything will get here eventually, and everybody will get what they're supposed to get when they get it and all that stuff. So we'll move on from that. So let's talk about my day yesterday. We're going to talk about my day yesterday. Let's start with work. I mean, I'm on my last few days of being an employed school teacher. I am currently down to one third grade goodbye Zoom meeting and a goodbye drive-by kind of thing at school Friday night. 2 more things to do. That's really it. It's done. It's over. Yeah. But yesterday was one of those days. It was like I had a meeting with my principal about kids that we didn't think had been making sufficient progress. That was okay. It was just that, it's just one of those things that just was a time, took time. Another teacher was going to come along, but we didn't do it in Zoom, so she wasn't able to. It was okay. It went well. It's done. It's over. It's in their hands for next year. I've left my feedback. I won't be there, so I handed off that ball to someone else. For this drive-through parade thing that we're doing, there's an email. And my principal sent it to us on one platform and asked us to forward it to our families, which is in a different platform. All right? So I tried like 5 times on my desktop computer to copy and paste that email and send it on to the families. It would not. I could copy it, but then there was never an option to paste it. I tried downloading it so I could find it that way. It wouldn't go that way. I got with my principal and I'm like, I cannot forward that email. I don't know what is going on. She referred me to another teacher. She said, ask so-and-so. They're pretty good at that stuff. Okay. Just happens to be the lady that I taught 2nd grade with that teaches across the hall from me. So I text her. I'm like, what is going on? How do I do this? She said, well, I just copy and then I paste it. And I'm like, I have tried that and it won't work. Look, this is what I get. And she's like, okay, that's weird. I've never seen that. I said, me neither. Okay, let me try this again. Now I am on my school laptop and I try the same exact thing I did on my desktop like 5 times. And what's it do? Works. Of course it works. I have her, I'm texting her, and I'm like, well, okay, now it works. I said, I'm on my laptop now, and it's working. She's just like, go figure, right? Technology. I am so tired of technology, and this year has just made it all the worse, right? Because at the end of the year here, everything has been so reliant on technology, and I don't want to do it anymore. I just don't want to do it anymore. One more technological thing I need to do, and then, I mean, when's it okay for me to just disable my email account with school and, stuff like that? I don't know. I just don't know. I remember a couple of years ago, one of my best friends, she retired, and she sent our group, because we have a group text that goes with my group of school friends, and she said, I spent the afternoon doing the most refreshing thing. And we're like, what? What'd you do? What'd you do? She goes, I went through Pinterest and I deleted every Pinterest board that had to do with school and teaching. And I just laughed at that. I was like, yep, I get it. I can see that. I will go through my Pinterest and I will do the same thing. All of the boards that have to do with teaching, they're just going to be gone. So when do I delete the email? I don't know. When do I delete my email address? So I don't get anything anymore. I mean, a lot of these people still have my personal phone number and stuff like that. They can still get a hold of me, but I don't want to see district stuff anymore. I just don't want to know any more about it, right? The things they're talking about for next year and stuff, it's just, so much of it is just depressing and confusing still, and I don't want any part of it anymore. So there was that. All right. Got that done. And then it was time to do my last Zoom with my class. It was our goodbye, right? It was goodbye. Well, at school, I talk all the time about my house and my yard and my pond and the chickens, the ducks, all that stuff, right? So I thought, what better way to end our year than to just take a little tour? Just take a little tour around the place and show them the cool stuff that I always talk about. So that's what I did. Got my laptop and we head out. All right, we went to the pond. That was cool. The pond worked great. They could see the pond, they could see the water. Got down to the pond and I actually got a frog that did not jump into the water. I was within a foot of the frog and it was just still sitting there like, okay, I don't know what you're doing, but okay. I got this computer, a laptop, mind you, facing the frog. I can't see a thing. All I can see is the back of the laptop. I'm just hoping that I'm getting, a picture of what I'm trying to show. I kept asking, can you see it? Can you see it? Can you see what I'm showing you? And, finally they were like, yeah, I see the frog. I see it, Showed them tadpoles, showed them the pond, showed them the cattails, walked around. There had been a snake. Okay, seriously, a snake. Let me talk about snakes. I do not like snakes. It's not that I hate snakes. It's not that I have some irrational fear of snakes or anything like that. But I don't like snakes out in my yard. If you have a snake and you're holding it, or it's in a tank, or it's your pet, or anything like that, I'm okay. I'm fine. I can even touch them if I really need to. But when I'm outside and I'm walking around, and in the corner of my eye, all of a sudden something goes, I freak. I just freak. I scream, I jump, I'm like, ah! Okay, that's me and snakes, at least outside. Well, when I went out my front door earlier in the day, in the morning, before the meeting, I knew there was a snake out in my front flower bed. Flower bed that's right by my front door, right in front of my office window. There's a snake there. It's a garter snake. We don't really have poisonous snakes. There are poisonous snakes in Michigan, but they're very rare and they're hard to, they're really not in our area even. They're quite rare. So I know it's a garter snake, and it's in my flower bed. Okay, I know it's there. I'm avoiding the flower bed. I don't want to see it, but I watched the snake go into the flower bed. Now, we have put fencing around my flower beds to keep my chickens out. because the chickens like to get into my flower beds and dig up the mulch. I think I may have mentioned that before. They're digging for bugs, and while they're digging through the mulch, they inadvertently mess up my plants and things like that. So we put fence around. Well, the fence wasn't good enough. They could still get through the gaps in the fence. So a few weeks ago, we went out and we put bird net, which is like little square plastic netting. They're little squares. I mean, they're probably less than an inch. They're probably like a half an inch square. All these little squares. Now, chickens can't get through that. However, snakes can. Sort of. Sort of. I watched this snake, as it's trying to really run from me, really, is what it was doing, start wiggling through this mesh to get into the flower bed. And I didn't think it was going to make it. It was tight. And I thought for sure it was going to end up just getting stuck there in this mesh netting and not be able to go anywhere. We had that happen a couple weeks ago. And the snake actually died because it tried to get out through the mesh and it ended up strangling itself. I know, gruesome, right? But I watched and it just kept wiggling and wiggling and wiggling. And I'm like, okay, it's going to make it. Anyhow, it's going to make it into the flower bed. Yeah. So, of course, when my husband gets home, first thing is I'm like, honey, come here. Come here. There's a snake in here and you got to get it. He couldn't find it. It wasn't in there anymore. I found it later on the other side of the porch in the other flower bed when I was planting some stuff. There it is. I'm like, honey, you come here. You got to get this thing. He never did get it. It's still out there somewhere. Anyhow, that's my thing with snakes. So we moved. I showed the kids the snake in the flower bed. It was just hanging out there when we went out with the computer. It was hanging out there. Of course, kids love snakes. They're fascinated by snakes. And then, I continued walking around the house. And one of the kids was like, Mrs. Dipple, look. And they know I can't see the computer, right? I told them, I can't see anything. I can't see you guys. I'm not looking at the screen at all. Mrs. Dipple, I got something to show you. I'm like, okay. I pop into the garage, turn the computer around, and I look, and here's this kid sitting there with like a python wrapped around his neck. Python, boa, I don't know. Big, fat, wrapped around his neck. And I was like, oh, yeah, you have a snake. Okay, all right, yep. Yeah, it's my sister's. Actually, the sister's boyfriend, I think. I don't know. Okay, cool. All right, cool. Yeah, let's move on. So I was heading out to the chickens, and I was going to show them the chickens and the ducks. And apparently, the chicken and the duck pen is too far away from my house for the Wi-Fi to work correctly, and I lost them. At one point, I'm talking away and showing them, and I'm like, I can't hear anybody. Can you see it? Can you see? I'm not hearing anything. I turn the computer on, and I'm like, they're gone. Okay. So I come back inside, come back into the house. I had to shut down the computer, start it all over, get back into my Zoom. And guess what, you guys? My 6 kids, I think it was 6, maybe 7, were still there. They were waiting, and they were like, okay, I don't know what happened, but they just sat there and waited. And I got back in, and I'm like, sorry, guys, Anyhow. See, it was one of those days. It was just one of those days. So I still hadn't let the chickens and the ducks out, and I wanted them to see the chickens and the ducks. And you know how Rowdy is. I have to take my stick out or something when I go let them out. So I set the computer up on my deck. I set it up on the grill so that they got a view of the yard, as the chickens and ducks would come, running by or flying by or whatever. So I go out, I let them out, hoping that the kids could see what was happening as the ducks go flying past and all that stuff. I come back around the house because I don't want to come near the house because Rowdy's over by the deck now. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to walk over that way because Rowdy's over there. So I go around. I'm a prisoner in my own yard, you guys. A prisoner in my own yard. I go around and I come in the front door. And when I'm coming in the front door, I'm like, oh man, I got to deal with the snake that's in the flower bed. Oh man, you know, I got a rooster in my backyard, keeping me out of my backyard. I got a snake in my front flower bed, making me not want to go out there. Okay, I just need to go back in my house. I need to just be in my house. So anyhow, the kids are out on the deck still on the computer. And I go out there and I get the computer. And I thought I would just sit on the deck a little bit and just chit chat and whatnot and show them a few more things. Maybe show them the ducks a little better, out swimming in the pond and stuff. But no. Oh no. I'll give you one guess who had other ideas. Who had other ideas? Rowdy. Uh-huh. So at first Rowdy was under the deck, and I could hear him under there. I knew he was under there, and he heard me up on the deck talking. Next thing I know, he comes out from under the deck, and I'm like, oh no you don't. But oh yes he did. He decided I'm up on the deck, so where's he gonna be? He's gonna come up on the deck. And I'm like, okay, snatching up this computer off the grill, and we're headed to the door. I'm like, nope. I'm not going to be out here on the deck, and you're going to hop up here on this deck and torment me. It's not happening. So I grabbed the computer, and I went in the house. End of farm tour, right? End of the farm tour. We're done. We are done being outside looking at the animals. What is going on? What am I going to do? What am I going to do with him? I just don't know. My husband's like, well, I don't know. Maybe you just need to go after him at some point. Just go after him. And I was like, yeah, okay, maybe. I'm telling you, I'm actually scared of him. If you saw him and how big he is, his claws, his spurs, he's terrifying. And he is, if you've ever seen a rooster actually like fight with another rooster, they don't back down. They don't back down. They are not afraid. And he would I know he would keep coming at me until one of us won. And I don't want to have that battle. I just don't. So anyhow, that was the end of the tour of the property. Came into the house, talked to the kids a few more minutes, and, you know, said goodbye and all that. So, that was that. You'd think that would have been enough excitement for one day? No. No. That was not enough. Okay? There's more. My husband gets home from work. That's when I tell him about the snake. I'm like, can you find the snake? Nope, couldn't find the snake. Well, that's because she'd moved over to the other side, right? The other side of the porch. Okay. I didn't know that at the time, but, you know. So he couldn't find her. Okay. Well, we needed to go to Walmart. We needed a few things. And so we're like, okay, let's head out. Let's go to Walmart. All right. We get in the car, we get in the truck, we pull out of the garage. And as we pull out of the garage, I get a pretty good view from my side of the truck of the backyard. I could see the backyard. And I can see the chicken coop, sort of, a little bit of it. But I can see, like, there's a wood pile out back, wood that we burn in our fireplace. And there's you can see all the brushy part out back, right? So we're pulling out, and I just glance back there, and I see in front of the wood pile a flash of reddish brown and a puffy tail. I'm like, honey, there is a fox out there. There is a fox. And he's like, where? And I'm like, it was right out there. It went jetting in front of that wood pile. All I saw was the tail end of it go past the wood pile and back out into the brush. And he goes, I thought I saw something, but I didn't know what it was. And I said, it's a fox. Okay. So we take the truck and we drive the truck out back in the yard, right? Park in the backyard between the house and the brushy area. He gets out, and all of the chickens and the ducks so they're on the other side of our truck. So it's like, the brush is here, the truck, and then the ducks and the chickens are up by the house. Okay? And they're all just standing there looking that way. They're all like, you can tell they're on alert. They're looking out there. They're looking towards the brush. They're looking towards that wood pile. And I'm like, yep. They know he's out there. They've seen it. So my husband walked around a little bit. He walked around. He went out in the brush and wandered around a bit because we got some paths through there that we can walk through. He's walking around, and I'm checking. I'm counting ducks. Okay, 10 ducks. And the ducks finally just kind of wandered back over to the pond. Then I'm counting chickens. There's supposed to be 10 chickens. 10 chickens, 10 ducks. I'm counting chickens, and I'm only getting 9. I'm like, dang it all. I only see 9. And there's a pile of feathers over by the wood pile. Are you serious? So I'm assuming this fox has already gotten one of my chickens. I'm now just waiting because he's out wandering around. So I'm just I'm standing on like the running board of the truck, I'm just standing there. I can see the chickens on one side of the truck. I can see the brush on the other side. And I'm just standing there waiting for him. I glance over at the brush. And down a little further, I see the fox. The fox is poking his head out from under the brush, looking our way. And I'm like, oh my God, it's coming back again. There it is. So I holler, Dale, it's over here. And of course, the second I yell, the thing jets into the brush and disappears. I'm like, that little, I had some choice names for him. Here he comes back out again. I'm assuming he's already gotten one chicken. I don't know when. This was probably his second trip out to get another one when we saw him. I was just like, oh my goodness. So just a few seconds later, Dale shows up from, the other side, and he's like, where? And I'm like, it was right over here. And I pointed to where it was. And again, he walked back into the brush now over on that side. And he just walked back in a little ways. And he's like, I don't see it. I don't know what's going on. And I'm like, I don't either. But we can't go to Walmart now. All the chickens and the ducks are out. They're, he knows they're out. They're sitting ducks. That old saying? They're sitting ducks. This is where it comes from, right? They're sitting ducks. They're just out there waiting to become his next snack. I'm like, good God, you already got one. How many do you need? What are you, go away. So I was like, we can't go to Walmart. He's like, yeah, we can. We'll just get the chickens in. I'm like, how are you going to get the chickens in? Mind you, you guys, it is 4:15 in the afternoon. It's hot. It's like 90 degrees. It's 4:15 in the afternoon. Bright daylight. Yeah. He's like, oh, I think I can get him in. And I'm like, okay, well, let's try. So he has a little bell. That's cute. He has a little bell. He rings the little bell. And then he goes into the coop with a bag of mealworms. Chickens love mealworms. So he dings a little bell. Ding, ding, ding. He rings a little bell. And he goes into the coop, the pen part, and starts shaking the bag. Well, they all go running. They all went running. I was like, wow. There were 2 stragglers, and they were up by the deck still. And I just walked up, and I got behind them, and I just kind of walked behind them, and they just went right that way, and they went right in. All of them. I've never seen that happen. I thought there was no way those chickens were all going to go into the coop in the middle of the day like that. But they did. They went in. And then the ducks were in the pond. Now the ducks, I think the ducks are a little safer in the pond because, I mean, a fox might go in the pond, but I think a fox would be hard pressed to actually capture and kill a duck in the pond while it's swimming and they're swimming. You know what I mean? So I felt a little safer because, you know, they're out in the pond. And we went off to Walmart. I'm like, wow, seriously? So, yeah, we did lose one of our girls. And it was Esther. Now, Esther was a green egg layer when she laid eggs. She would lay green eggs. Esther is one of my oldest birds. One of my oldest chickens, has been around forever. And see, this is what I shouldn't do. Him and I were talking about it one day last week. And we were saying that, or I was saying that Esther and Blondie have been around the longest. And they are birds that we raised by hand. They're very friendly. They like us, but they're also, I think they're pretty smart, pretty wise. They've been around a long, long time. They usually hang around at the house. They don't wander far. And yeah, hence why they've been around such a long time and have lived such a long life, right? And then look what happened. Then look what happens. I mean, I just was saying that a couple days ago, and then bam, who does the fox get? He gets her. Now, she wasn't laying eggs anymore. She was older, and I don't know if that's a consolation or not, you know, that she was an older bird. I mean, she was one of my favorites just because she was nice, and she would come to me. I mean, she was one of those birds you could almost get up to and touch when they're outside. You know, she was just a nice bird. An older bird, yes, she lived a long life, but still. So now what? Now what, guys? Now what? What do I do now? I realize we're living in their world. I realize that. We're in the middle of wild kingdom out there. The fox, the possums, the raccoons. I mean, I get it. And I'm trying to raise chickens and ducks, but what do? I feel like I can't let them out anymore. They're out there right now. I can hear Rowdy crowing, like, you know, let me out, let me out. And I'm scared to let him out. Unless I'm outside constantly, I'm afraid to let him out. I mean, they're not in the coop, they're in the pen, but, you know, now there's 19 birds out there, including the ducks and the chickens, but I don't know what to do. I just don't know what to do. I don't want to lose any more. I don't know. That was all one day. That was one day, guys. Not a week. Not 3 days. That was all happened in the same day. Yeah. Tuesday. So, I don't know what to do. Anyhow. Well, I think I've rambled long enough, and I'm going to try to finish up this flower today. And keep watching. I'll give you more information later as to how you can enter for the prize we're giving away. It should be pretty cool. It's a nice painting. It's pretty. When I get it, because she's having it shipped to me, when I get it, I will, I'll show it to you. I'll unbox it and I'll show it to you. When I get it, and I'm going to get some other stuff to go with it. When I have all of those items, then we'll probably really talk about how we're going to do the giveaway. But anyhow, for now, from Wild Kingdom here, Wild Kingdom in Michigan, right? I'll let you go. And you guys stay safe out there. And in a world where you can choose anything, you know, choose kindness. We just need to be kind, understanding. you know. Give each other grace. Give each other grace. All right. Thanks for watching. Hit the like button. Subscribe if you want to come back and see more videos. And I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.